of the Ombud and ensuring the systematic implementation of its recommendation. Finally, although not formally on the agenda, honorable members, we note the impending deployment of the South African National Defence Force in support of the South African Police Service across the country. We request the Ombud to indicate how it will ensure visibility and accessibility in deployment areas so that the public has clear recourse in cases of alleged misconduct. We look forward to a constructive and focused engagement. With those few words, Minister and honorable members, we officially declare this meeting open. And let's proceed with our protocols. Our protocols, members, as we all know, we'll first introduce our members of parliament who are here, and then we will let our guest as well introduce the guest, and we will then kickstart our program. I will start by introducing myself. I'm Piran Pala, the co-chair of this joint standing.
Apologies, Chair. I raised my hand.
Okay, you are for that. What are the issues, Honorable?
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to suggest perhaps we should adopt the agenda before we introduce ourselves. And I don't know if we're going to deal also with the issue of apologies before we proceed with the rest of the introduction.
Yeah, we are going to do that, Honorable Chair. Honorable Nias.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Members, I wanted us to, before we here the agenda has been flagged here. Is opening apologies, a presentation by the military Ombud. But before that, we have done our welcome. Let's go to apologies. Then from there, we'll introduce members. Secretary of the committee, can you give us the apologies?
Chair, are we adopting the agenda? Sorry, I don't want to be a nitpicking person, but we haven't adopted the agenda yet.
Let's deal with the attendance and apologies, and then from there we adopt the agenda, Honorable Nias.
Okay.
Good morning, Chair. Good morning, everyone in the platform. There's an apology from Ms. Lekwase, and also Deputy President Olomisa would leave the meeting early to attend an audit committee meeting. Thank you, Chair. Those are the only two apologies.
Thank you, Secretary of the committee. Let's go to the adoption of the agenda, honorable members.
Chair, I move.
Honorable Chair, sorry, Honorable Nias, the Secretary made a slip of the tongue. Deputy Minister, not Deputy President. Thank you.
Yes. Okay.
Nice promotion. Thank you very much, Secretary. Just to be a Deputy President for a few seconds.
Thank you, Deputy Minister.
Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Noe, for corrections. Let's proceed, members. Let's adopt the agenda.
Thank you, Chair. I propose adoption of the agenda, but with one small addition, perhaps just a clarification, that since you did refer to the issue of the deployment of the SANDF internally, whether we have received any of the correspondence, the relevant correspondence from the President or the Minister regarding that deployment. If we have, and if I somehow missed it, I apologize for raising it, but otherwise it is a matter that then is outstanding if we haven't received it.
No, we haven't received it.
We should discuss it.
Okay, thank you. We have received that. That's the reason why I indicated that the matter is not in the agenda, but we are just raising it to hear whether the ombudsman can able to say anything about it. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chair. Then I propose adoption of the agenda.
Chair,
Okay,
my hand is up.
Honorable Hala.
My hand is up, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, how can we adopt the the agenda without knowing who's in this meeting? We first introduce ourselves, then we adopt the agenda. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Hala. Honorable Thokozile, you wanted to raise the same matter?
And Chairperson, my hand is up.
Yes, the platform is yours, Honorable Thokozile.
Oh, thank you very much. A greeting to you, Chairperson, and the co-chair, Dr. Malusi Gigaba. Let me greet the honorable members, as well as the minister, the deputy ministers that are here, ombudsman, and all the officials that are present here, from the office of the ombudsman, the department, and the joint standing committee. Chair, I want our meeting to follow the correct procedure, because every time we start a meeting, we need to deviate from what is written. Let us put the issue of adopting the agenda in the agenda that has been given to the meeting, so that we're not deviated. Now I want us to discuss the issues that are here on the agenda today, so that Nandipa and the other officials of the administration, they correct the agenda. Because last time, or not last time, the other time we discussed this issue, we said that we don't want to ambush anyone with an item that needs to be discussed, but rather people, they should give those items prior the meeting starts. Give those items that they want to be discussed, so that they are incorporated in the agenda to be discussed. We cannot have any other items to be discussed and include them now on the agenda. Otherwise, I'm circling the agenda that is here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Thokozile. Members, let's proceed. Our agenda is flighted. We can all see what is in the agenda, and let's proceed, members. We have adopted the agenda. There was a move to adopt the agenda. I wanted anyone who can second the agenda. Then from there we can introduce members. Can we do that, honorable members? Can we second the agenda? Then from there we introduce.
I've seconded the agenda, Chair.
Thank you very much. The agenda is adopted. Let's introduce ourselves, members. I indicated that I'm going to start with myself. I'm Piran Pala, the co-chair of this committee. Let's follow as such. Co-chair, can you introduce yourself?
Thank you, Chair. My name is Malusi Gigaba. I'm the co-chairperson of the committee. Thank you. From the African National Congress.
Thank you very much.
I'm Thokozile Sokanyile, the member of the committee. Apologies if you hear any noise. I'm at the airport. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Thokozile. Honorable Nihas.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Carl Niehaus, and I represent the economic freedom fighters on both this joint standing committee on defense and also the portfolio committee on defense and military veterans. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Hartin.
Good morning, Chair. Chris Harting, member of the Joint Standing Committee on Defence as well as Portfolio Committee on Defence.
Thank you, Honorable Hala.
Morning. Honorable co-chairs, morning, honorable members, Minister, Deputy Minister, Michael, a member of both committees. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Priet.
Morning, Chairperson, and good morning to my colleagues and everyone on the platform. My name is Tammy Briet. I am a member of this committee. I serve in the NCOP and I represent the Freedom Front Plus. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Noah.
Good morning, Chairperson. Good morning, Minister, Deputy Minister, and all the officials and Ombud and honorable members. My name is Peter Noe. I serve on the Joint Standing Committee representing the African nation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Noe. Honorable Plugis.
Good morning, honorable members, ministers, deputy ministers, generals. My name is Windy Plakis. I'm serving on both standing committees deployed by the ANC.
Thank you very much. Honorable Tebekolo, I do not see here, but yes, Honorable Tebekolo, Ngos.
Thank you, co-chair. Greetings to both the co-chairs, the ministers, deputies, and the entire generals. I'm Tsagazo Tebekolo, member of both committees from the IFP. Thank you.
Thank you, David. I do not see any other member of parliament here, but if he's here, if I've missed one, please.
Good morning, Honourable Chair and members on the platform. I'm Nicholas Gottsall. I'm a member of the DA that also serve on the Joint Standing Committee on Defence and the Select Committee on Security and Justice.
Thank you, Honourable Gottsall. Okay, I think the members of parliament as I'm just scrolling on the attendance here, but if I've missed anyone, my apology. Honourable members, let's proceed. Minister, we have our staff support. I'm just going to give them a platform as well to introduce themselves. Let me start with the Secretary of the Committee.
Good morning again, co-chair, ministers, deputy ministers, and everyone else in the platform. I am Nandi Pamakakwana, the Secretary of the Committee. Thank you.
Dr. van Rensburg.
Good morning, Chair, and all members on the platform. Dr. Janse van Rensburg. I'm the Content Advisor for the committee.
Thank you, Dr. van Rensburg. Dr. Steenkamp Fonseca.
Good morning, Chair, and good morning to everyone in the meeting. I'm Dr. Raymond Steenkamp Fonseca. I'm the researcher on this committee.
Thank you, Doc. Ms. Ando.
Morning, Chair. Morning, honorable members, ministers, deputy minister, officials present. I am Oliver Ndo, committee assistant for the committee.
Thank you, Minister. I think we have completed our introduction. I'm going to hand over to you to introduce members of parliament, members of the defense who are here. Thank you, Minister. The platform is yours.
No, thank you very much, Chair. And also let me greet members of the committee that have just introduced themselves, acknowledge the co-chair, Dr. Madlusi Gigaba. Chair, my name is Angie Muteha. I'm the Minister of Defense, and I'm with our officials, the Deputy Minister. I think after the Deputy Minister introduces himself, then members of the committee, in terms of their seniority, will start introducing themselves. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Minister. Deputy Minister.
Thank you, Chairperson and honorable members. My name is Bantu Holomisa, a former member of the Defense Force Portfolio Committee as well as the Joint Standing Committee on Intelligence in Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Minister. Minister, are you, who's going to introduce the members of the...
So, Chair, can I ask the officer of the Ombuds, and then I see General Mkize, also the members of the department, if we can quickly do that. the office of ombuds and then the department.
Thank you, Minister. They can proceed.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Minister and Honorable Co-Chairs. I'm Lieutenant General, retired Vusumuzi Ramakala Masondo. I'm joined in the meeting by members of my management team, which I'm going to introduce now. First is Chief Director Operation, Mr. Mtetwa, who's also the acting Deputy Military Ombuds. And next is Mr. Bear, who's Director Intake and Analysis. And then is Advocate Mape, who's Director Legal. And it's Ms. Klassen, who's Acting Chief Corporate Staff. And it's Mr. Jonas, Director Investigations. And it's Ms. Makitela, Acting Head of Communication. And it's my PA, Ms. Ngwatle. Honorable Chairs, as you can see, we're in Hollywood. We've got many actors in the office, but we hope to turn around that situation soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, General Masondo. Without wasting much to do, let's proceed with our program. We are going to hand over to you, General, to do the presentation on the military ombuds on its 2024-2025 annual report.
Apologies, Chair, can you allow the defense, because this was the Ombuds Office,
okay.
General Sishwangai, to introduce members of the Defense Force who are here.
Thank you, Minister. General Sishwangai, platform is yours.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and thanks to the Minister. It's Lieutenant General Manswana, the Chief of Staff of the SANDF. With me in the room at the Defense Headquarters, I am with Admiral Machimani, and I'm also with Mr. Mujuli. I am with Colonel Mulandwa, as well as the military parliamentary liaison officer, and that is Captain Mabunda. On the other side, from Joint Operations Headquarters, CJ Ops is likely going to join us, Chairperson. Then we got General Mukize, who is not sitting with us in the same room. So that is the whole of us. And if General Mukize can hear me, she can just indicate who is with her in the room. General Mukize, if you can indicate, please. Chairperson, it would look like General Mukize seems to have a problem of communicating that side. Okay. But this is all who we are, Chairperson, with your permission, handing back to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and our apology. I thank Minister for assisting us in that regard. Let's proceed, honorable members. We are going to hand over to the ministry to do the presentation. I think, Minister, the military ombuds, I think, can start with the presentation. Thank you very much, John Masanda.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Please allow me to start by greeting you, the co-chairperson and honorable members of the committee, and also to extend my greetings to the minister, deputy ministers, and the members of the SANDF who are in the meeting. We, as an office, we welcome the opportunity to appear before your committee to account for the work that we do as an office. In this instance, to specifically account for our 2025 performance as an office as required by the committee. Briefly, therefore, the purpose of the briefing will be to highlight key achievements and improvements in the resolution of complaints, in the governance of the office, and also stakeholder engagement. And also to outline institutional and systemic constraints affecting service delivery of the office. And finally, to identify areas where the Joint Standing Committee oversight and support are required. Just to reiterate the mandate of the office, which is to investigate written complaints from serving and former members of the SANDF on the conditions of service, also complaints from the public regarding the official conduct of the SANDF members and individuals acting on behalf of members. Our Act requires the office to resolve complaints fairly, economically, and expeditiously, and safeguard the rights of the complainants. Looking at our overall performance for the year under review, as an office, we're able to achieve a resolution rate of complaints of 89.58%, thus exceeding the target that was set in the annual performance plan for the year, which was 75%. I'll come back later on in this next slide to the overall percentage, because there's a distortion there in terms of some complaints that we received. I'll explain that later. At the end of the financial year, we're left with 69 active cases, which we carried over to the financial year 25-26. We're also able, as an office, to conduct 68 outreach events, thereby expanding our national footprint. Of course, we continue to have strong governance within the office that allows us to be able to submit accountability documents according to our Act and according to the timelines as prescribed. As an office, we continue to face certain structural and other challenges, amongst which is the issue of institutional independence, the SANDF corporation delays, and of course the issue of compensation of employees shortfall. This particular issue is an issue that has been with us from the time I joined the office in 2019. I indicated earlier, co-chairperson and members, that somehow our stats are distorted by 237 complaints that we received from former civilian employees at the Hoedspruit base, where they were complaining about how they were handled twice in service. And of course, these complaints fall outside the mandate of the office, and we therefore refer them to the Secretary for Defense for handling. And we try, therefore, to exclude these and indicate the percentage that we're able to attain that is excluding these cases. Therefore, coming to the normalized or adjusted performance of the office, the normalized case load for the financial year 24-25 was 353 cases. But if we include the 72 cases that we carried over from the previous year, the total case load worked up to 425. The normalized finalized cases were 356. Therefore, the normalized resolution rate being 83.84%. Next, we look at the 5-year statistical overview of cases for the office. And we'll see that in terms of carryover cases, these fluctuate. But for the year under review, we started the year with 72 cases. And of course, this is influenced by the number of cases that we receive towards the end of the financial year, which we don't have any control over. And of course, then the total number of cases received for the financial year was 590, and this is inclusive of the 237 Hoofspreid complaints that I alluded to. And the total number of cases or total caseload for the year therefore became 662. We were able as an office to resolve 593 cases, and at the end of the financial year we had 69 cases that we then carried over to the next financial year. Looking at the nature of complaints, 269 of the complaints that we received were about conditions of service, and 19 were about official conduct. And the other category is complaints that we receive that are outside the mandate of the office. For instance, the 237 complaints that I referred to. But I need to also point out to Parliament that we receive a lot of complaints from military veterans complaining about military veteran benefits from the Department of Military Veterans. And given the fact that currently the appeal board is not in place, having come to the end of their term, when we receive these complaints, we then refer them to the public protector so that they can be handled there. Looking at categories of new complaints, the majority of these, the 72 of these, was on service benefit, followed by service termination, which was 51 cases, complaints about remuneration, 50, appointment and appointment procedure, 29, promotion and demotion, 23, official conduct of a member of the SANDF, 19, complaints about placement and utilization, 19, working environment, 12, grievance and disciplinary procedures, 9, and education, training and development, 4, and the others is 302. Next, we look at the complaint profile. 26 of the complaints that we received were from current members, 24% from former members, and about 50% from members of the public. Breaking these down according to rank and gender, we see that the majority of the complaints came from non-commissioned officers, which is 114, followed by those from the ratings. Within the officer corps, the junior officers, 35, senior officers, 26. In terms of gender distribution, 85% of the complaints came from males and 15 from female complainants. Next, we look at the manner of resolution of the complaints. And of course, the first is a complaint referred in terms of Section 67C of our Act to the appropriate public institution, which is those amount to 320. And of course, complaints dismissed in terms of Section 72D, that is where members fail to exhaust the SANDF individual grievance regulations of 2016. It's 94 cases. Those that have been dismissed in terms of Section 4.1, that is not a condition of service, is actually 25. Complaints resolved in terms of Section 6.6, subsection B, that is those resolved through alternative dispute resolution, is 21. I need to point out here, honorable chairs and members, that as an office, we see the alternative dispute resolution as one of the quickest way we can utilize to resolve complaints. And we've invested in training staff in terms of alternative dispute resolution. Next, we look at the complaints that were dismissed in terms of Section 6.7a, that is those that were dismissed on merit, and then which is 19 complaints dismissed in terms of Section 7.2c, which is late referral not condoned at 12. Can I continue?
Sorry, General. Can people mute themselves and not interrupt the presentation, please? Proceed the agenda.
Thank you very much, Chair. There are those that we dismiss because of lack of cooperation from the complainants, which is 6, and complaints dismissed in terms of Section 7.1, that is those matters that are either before the military court or civilian court, is 4, and complaints that were withdrawn is 4. Those that are withdrawn are sometimes withdrawn because the issue gets resolved whilst you are dealing with it. And of course, the duplicate complaints. Duplicate complaints are people who complain to us and we finalize their complaint, and they come back later with the same complaint to the office, and therefore that we just dismiss. And thanks to record keeping, we're able to identify these cases. And of course, those that have been dismissed in terms of 7.2a, which undermining the channels of command, is 2. I'm happy to also point out that there were no complaints dismissed in terms of not following the prescribed format of complaining, which means that as an office, at least we're able to communicate effectively to our complainants. Coming to the outreach program, as I indicated earlier, we're able to conduct 68 outreach events or activities across the provinces. In actual fact, we're able to cover the 8 provinces in the exception of Gauteng. Gauteng, we left it out because the number of complaints that we receive actually come from Gauteng. But in our interaction with members in Gauteng, we have realized that the number of members in the Gauteng province who don't know about the mandate of the office, and in the outreach plan for the next financial year will also be then covering Gauteng. Of course, these outreach activities included presentations during visits to military bases, public activations, and when we were invited, for instance, by the Department of Arts and Culture, and then we have exhibitions there, and also at presidential imbizos. And of course, these have assisted us in enhancing stakeholder understanding of the mandate of the office. These outreach activities covered both SANDF members and members of the public. Coming to governance and compliance, as I indicated, our internal governance structures are functioning effectively, thereby allowing us to comply with the submission of accountability documents according to prescripts. We've had no fruitless or wasteful expenditure. We had one irregular expenditure which was investigated. Currently is undergoing legal review to be finalized. Looking at the financial performance of the office, in terms of the compensation of employees, our allocation was 45.6 million, but our actual expenditure was 49.5, which is over expenditure. And of course, we had to make up the difference from our operational budget of 3.9 million. In terms of our operational budget, the total allocation was 24.6 million, and we're able to spend 16.2 million, which constitutes 66% of our operational budget. And of course, we're not able to spend fully our operational budget because of challenges of procurement delays, which continue to affect the expenditure rate. And of course, at the end of the financial year, we had to surrender 4.4 million, which we couldn't spend because of these challenges of procurement. And of course, it left us in a situation where we're not able to satisfy some of our key requirements. Looking at the key challenges that we're faced with as an office, and of course, the key issue is that of institutional autonomy. Because if we have this, we can be able, therefore, to also spend our budget effectively and ensure that the office can function optimally. And of course, we have challenges in terms of cooperation from the SANDF, that is in the terms of provision of information that we require. Sometimes this is affected by issue of records that may not be up to date, and also having to go to the archives to source part of the information that we require. And of course, the compensation of employees underfunding is a serious problem for us, because the office originally was approved with 89 posts, but all along we've been functioning with 63 posts, which were also approved by the Plenary Defense Staff Council. Now, the allocation that we receive only covers about 59 posts, which means on a yearly basis, therefore, we have to top up to make sure that all the employees that we have in the office are paid. The other challenge that we are faced is turnaround in time for filling vacant posts. For instance, currently we've got posts that are vacant for over a period of a year, which is not good for a small office like ours. We therefore want to recommend to the Joint Standing Committee on Defense that you note the annual activity report and briefing of the office of the 2024-25 financial year, and that also you continue to support, or rather support a review of the office compensation of employees baseline by the relevant authorities, and monitor progress in aligning it with the 63 approved posts. That also, if the committee can continue monitoring the implementation of our recommendation and related corrective measures, including structural challenges, vacancies, cooperation, and information sharing and procurement delays. To conclude, Honorable Chair and members, the office exceeded performance targets, and we realize significant operational and governance improvements. And of course, structural changes continue to compromise independence and efficiency, but the office remains committed to fairness, accountability, and strengthening the oversight within the defense environment. Thank you, Chair. This brings us to the end of our presentation. We are ready to take questions from members of the committee. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, General. Thank you for your presentation. I think members have gone through the presentation. I think they've as well noted the issues which we may be concerned about as members of Parliament. Members, before we proceed, I'm going to request the Department of Defense to respond to the ombuds, to the outstanding military Ombud recommendation, and then from there we'll deal with issues after that. Let's give the minister an opportunity and to respond in terms of the recommendations made by the ombuds. Can you proceed in that way, Minister?
No, thank you very much, Chair. Chair, the department has prepared a report on outstanding matters that have been referred to the department. General Sitwangai and his team are here, so I'll ask them to flight that report on different cases that have been referred to us, where there have been delays and also challenges in implementing them. General, if you allow me, can I ask General Sitwangai's team to respond, Chair?
Yes, Minister. Let them proceed.
Okay. General.
I think on. Is the microphone on?
Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's have General Ramanzwan.
Chairperson, may I just raise a point, please?
Okay, just hold the General. Honorable Hati.
Chair, since this is on the outstanding cases, have we received this prior or not, or is it available?
Yes, we have received this, Honorable.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry to have interrupted.
Okay, no problem. Thank you very much. Let's proceed, General Ramanzwan.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Thank you, Minister. I am with Mr. Mdluli. He is going to continue to respond to the presentation by the military ombud. Mr. Mdluli, over to you. Can you continue, please?
Thank you, General. Good morning, Minister, Deputy Ministers, co-chairs of the SLD, General Ramanzwane, and senior officers, generals, and admirals in the Defense Force. We are going to respond on the purposes of our presentation today. It's in response to the outstanding military ombud recommendations not yet implemented by the Department of Defense or still in the process to be implemented by the Department of Defense. And this is the aim of our presentation, is to brief the Joint Standing Committee on Defense on the considerations and implementations and non-implementations of military Ombud recommendation for the period 2024-2025 financial year, as well as payment and non-payment of outstanding allowances. Our scope of the presentation is the introduction, the nature of complaints received for financial year 2024, beg your pardon, and 2025, and military Ombud implementation for the period 2024, and it will lead us into a conclusion. Chair, this is the introductions defining what the Military Ombud Office is all about. General Masondo, the Military Ombud, has touched on this intro. With your permission, if I could just go to the next slide without avoiding repetitions of the intro that has been already introduced. The next slide. Chair, these are the nature of complaints received from the Military Ombud intended to the department to implement it. We received 6 education and training development officer appointment, and then we received 4 grievance and grievance procedure, meaning these are members, 4 members were complaining about the grievance procedure. I will request that we go to the outstanding military Ombud if the hyperlink is not opening.
Can you proceed?
Yeah, I'm trying to activate the outstanding data.
Okay.
Thank you, Chair, and I beg your pardon for the little delay. These are all the outstanding recommendations that were supposed to be implemented by the Department of Defense. The first one is the recommendation was forwarded to the department, and the Minister of Defense and Military Veterans Implementation Instruction was issued to the department on 6 October 2024 and forwarded to Chief HR for implementation. The department is in the process of implementing these recommendations. We are in the process of aligning the policy of the department in order to implement these recommendations. The reasons why we keep on aligning the policy is to avoid inconsistencies of treatment of members of the defense force in the department. The second one, the implementation instructions was issued on 5 August 2025. The matter awaits policy alignment for implementation. The member was complaining about officers' appointment. Currently, in the Department of Defense, the prescripts of the Department of Defense is that as and when a member of the defense force has committed an act of an offense, he or she cannot be appointed as an officer because that particular member is not in good standing. Therefore, we would have to align the policy in order to implement this decision. The third one, number 3, we received the implementation instruction on 7 November 2025. The matter awaits policy alignment for implementation. It same applies as to the second one. It's the previous offenses. This particular member must be appointed as an officer. The fourth one is the same as officer appointment. The fifth one is officer appointment. Number 6 is officer appointment. All these members' complaints, we must align the policy in order to firstly appoint them. Number 6, I beg your pardon, number 7, we received the implementation instructions on the 14th of October 2024. We're in the process of aligning the policy. However, this member, he has already been in a process of being promoted. So by few weeks, this matter, it will be resolved because the member is going to be, the promotion is going to be rectified into a major. Number 8, the member was complaining about the previous procedure. What happened here, Chair, is the member lodged a grievance and then he lodged another grievance complaining that his grievance is not resolved. Then the department made some intervention on time to resolve the grievance of the member. And currently the member, he is utilized according to his qualifications and his skills. This matter is already resolved. We are going to remove it from the data. Number 9, this member also complains about a grievance that was delayed to be resolved. It was an issue of a technical allowance. We received the instructions on 7 November 2025. The matter is in a process of implementation. The department is almost done with the technical allowance of this member. Number 10, we received the implementation instructions on 16 October 2024. The member was complaining about a grievance that was delayed. So in other words, he's complaining about a grievance that is not yet investigated. The department, in particular the South African Air Force, has already attended to the matter of this member. The matter is in a final stage of implementation. Number 10, the member was complaining about a grievance that was not resolved on time. We received the implementation instruction on 16 October 2024. The Air Force is in the final stage of implementing this matter. The decision has already been taken by the Air Force. The department is in the process of finalizing this matter. Number 11, we received implementation instructions on 16 October 2024. The matter is still underway for implementation as it involves policy review, discharge, and loss and appeal. This particular member was complaining about service benefits. He was charged, he committed an offense, he was charged, and he appealed. While he's still awaiting for his appeal, then he lodged a grievance. Unfortunately, he lost the appeal. Then the department is now in a process of paying him all his service benefits. Number 12, the member here was complaining about an injury on duty. The matter is at the final stage of implementation. The member was transferred to the Eastern Cape Signal Unit. and change of service corps remains outstanding. The department is trying to implement the recommendations by the military ombud, and the member was transferred to the Eastern Cape. We're now in a process of finalizing the service benefits of this member. It was an injury on duty. Number 13, it's a service benefits, it's the pension. We received the implementation instructions on the 4th of December 2025. The matter is in a process of implementation. However, the member must first vacate a state quota in order to finalize phase 3. In other words, it's this member is requesting his service benefits, his pension. He completed the booklet, and the booklet is with HR. HR cannot proceed to finalize the booklet on phase 3 because the member is still remaining in the quotas of the Defence Force. It's going to create a debt, in other words, if he remains in the quotas while he wants to exit the department. So the department requested the member to complete the booklet and vacate the headquarters, I beg your pardon, the quotas, in order for phase 3 to be implemented. We're in the final stage of speaking to the member and finalizing the service benefits of this member. Number 14, service termination benefits, patient benefits. We received the implementation instruction on the 6th of February 2025, and the matter is still underway for implementation. Documents sent to GEPF for final payment. Where I am, Chair, this matter might have been overtaken by events, but for purposes of transparency, we have included it here because the documents have already been sent to GEPF for payment of this member. Number 15, service termination reinstatement. We received implementation instructions on 10 July 2025, and the department is still in the process of implementing this instruction. Number 16, we received implementation instructions on the 4th of September 2025. The matter is in the process of implementation, referred to HR acquisition on the 23rd of January 2026 for implementation. The department is implementing that instruction. Number 17, it's a reserve call-up. We received the implementation instructions on the 24th of November 2025. The matter is in a process of implementation. Number 18, termination of service and non-payment of salary. The department is in the process of implementing this one. This morning, I also made a follow-up with the department. They took documents to this member for signature in order for the department to pay this member. Number 19, it's a reserve force utilization reimbursement. The department received ministerial implementation instructions on 5 May 2025, awaiting reimbursement for service rendered. The department is trying to create a code in order to pay this member. We're in the process of finalizing the creation of the code and aligning that particular code with the payment in order for this member to be paid. Number 20, it's a recruitment procedure. We received the implementation instructions on 10 July 2025, and the matter is redirected to HR acquisition for implementation. We are in a final stage of implementing this matter. Number 21, medical benefits. We received the implementation instructions on 8 November 2025. The matter is in the process of implementation. The department is already attending to this matter. it might also be overtaken by events, but for purposes of transparency, we have included it here. The department is attending to this member. Number 22, this is the member of the public who received the implementation instructions on 6 February 2025. Army HR is in the process of finalizing this matter by reimbursement of this member. Number 23 is a member of the public, is an official conduct of member of the Defence Force who received implementation instruction on 12 December 2025. The matter is in the process of implementation. We identify some policy gap while we were trying to implement this instruction, and the department is aligning that policy gap. But in the meantime, the department has attended positively by allowing this member of the public to visit the military base, visit their graves which are inside the military base. Number 24, we received implementation instructions on 7 November 2025. The matter has been resolved. This matter has been resolved, but for purposes of transparency, we have included it, the data, because it falls within the period 2024-2025. Number 25, we received implementation instructions on 21 November 2025. The matter is in the process of implementation. The member is currently a civilian and CDOC is following up on the matter. This matter, it might also be overtaken by events because it was in the final stage of payment of the acting allowance of this member. Number 26, we received implementation instruction on 10 August 2025. The matter is in the process of, in the implementation process. Number 27, we received implementation instruction on 24 November 2025. The matter is in the process of implementation. The member exceeded the DOD in October 2020. There was some issues with some SARS taxes. Then in the 2021 IRP5, the department tried to assist this member in order to finalize the payment. Number 28, we received implementation instructions on 4 March 2025. The matter is in the process of implementation. Number 21, the last one, we received implementation on 5 May 2025. The matter is in the process of implementation. Army support formation and infantry formation are attending to this matter. We are busy making follow-up with regards to this matter, and we are of the view as a department that in few weeks' time, this matter is going to be resolved. That is my presentation, Co-Chair. I thank you. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your presentation, and thank you, General, for that presentation. I think, Minister, now it's time for now to engage on these issues. From where I'm sitting, Minister, I have a difference. The difference between what is presented by the ombuds and what's presented by the department, but I think members will engage on those issues. Minister, Section 884 of the Ombud, it says members and employees of the department must cooperate with the Ombud and the Deputy Ombud in the performance of their functions, which include providing the reasonable access to facilities, information, or documents. And section 14.1, it says any person who hinders or obstructs the Ombud or a member of his or her staff in the performance of his or her or their functions commits an offense. So I think we'll provide members a time to engage on these issues and see how do we deal and how do you go forward with what was presented here. Honorable members, I think you have noted the presentation by both the Ombud and also the department. I'm going to hand over, give you an opportunity to respond. I mean to ask questions, clarification on these issues. Members, the time is yours. I'll take some hands from you, members. And thank you, Minister, and thank you, Ombud, for the presentations. Members, can we then start engaging on the two presentations?
Chair, can you see our hands?
I don't see your hand, Honorable.
Yeah, it's a raised,
okay.
Chair.
Okay, I see Honorable Carl, Honorable Harding, Honorable Noe, Honorable Hala, Honorable Tokozile. Yeah, we'll take more hands. Let's start with you, Honorable Nihos.
Before Honorable Niehaus, I'm sorry to interject. I wanted to check whether is it not proper or appropriate, if you allow, if it is necessary, I don't know, that maybe the defense can have a comment on the report and the feedback from the department. Thank you.
Honorable, thank you for that. We'll give the Minister an opportunity after engagement to make some comments. Can we proceed in that order?
Okay, Chair, can I proceed?
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. And let me first of all thank both the military Ombud, General Masondu, and also the Department of Defense for the presentations that they've given us. One thing I need clarity about is whether this is the totality of the presentations that are coming from the Ombud and specifically the department. If that is the case, then let me proceed with some of the comments that I have. Chair, these presentations, to my mind, continue to expose very deep structural and operational flaws in the military Ombud's framework, particularly around investigative powers, around independence and implementation delays. And they align with long-standing concerns that had been raised by this Joint Standing Committee, not just in this 7th administration, but also in previous administrations. There was the 2019 Portfolio Committee on Defense and Military Veterans legal opinion on autonomy, and then also our November 2025 Joint Standing Committee on Defense meeting that expressed serious frustration about the mandate of the military Ombud and the issues of implementation. Now, building on these presentations and those concerns that were raised before, there is clearly a critical need for legislative reform of the Military Ombud Act, number 4 of 2012. And this issue was addressed and it was referred to in our November 2025 meeting, but we had not received until now any clarity about what progress is actually achieved. There seems to be a hiatus with regards to the internal consultations between the department and also the military ombud, and the policy drafting remains incomplete despite the fact that there had been promises that these issues would be addressed. So, Chair, the concerns are, and we've raised them before, the lack of investigative powers of the Ombud. The Ombud is confined to investigating only written complaints from specific parties. The Ombud is not able to initiate its own investigations. There's also the issue of the independence of the military Ombud, and General Masondo has again in his presentation referred to that. So while the Ombud's office is independent in conducting investigations as per Section 7, it is wholly dependent on the executive for the enforcement and recommendations that are submitted to the minister. And as I've pointed out in the meeting of the 25th of November last year, it is simply for the minister to accept or reject them without any mandatory timelines, binding force, or reasons to be given for non-implementation. I go further, Chair, and raise the long delays in implementing findings and recommendations. Despite the report that we received from the South African National Defence Force today, there continue to be delays with regards to the implementation of recommendations. And there are cases that exceed 2 years, and a November 2024 project to clear the 1993 reports are still not concluded, with 40 still unimplemented as they were by 2025. Some of them have now been dealt with in this report that we have received from the SANDF today. I must say that I continue to be concerned about the report that we received from the SANDF, specifically because of the number of concerns that had not been addressed, complaints that had not been resolved because of this issue of policy alignment. So, Chair, overall, there is really an urgency in proceeding with the legislative process. There has been a very long extended delay of over 5 years in finalizing amendments that hinders the Ombud's transition to a fully independent entity. And this not only undermines the 2025-2030 strategic plan goals for operational autonomy, but it also prolongs injustices for complainants, as have been seen also in this report. So what we need to ask is what necessary amendments to empower the Ombudsman has to be taken. To address the core weaknesses, we have to grant own initiative investigative powers beyond written complaints to probe systemic maladministration. We must make recommendations binding on the minister and the SANDF with mandatory timelines, and there must be escalation mechanisms for non-compliance, including a judicial review or parliamentary reporting. We must establish operational independence for the Ombud as a Schedule 3 public entity for autonomous budgeting and HR functions. reducing reliance on the Department of Defense systems. We heard today again from General Masondo that there were delays because of this dependence on the HR functions and budgeting of the Ombud on the SANDF. And we must introduce structured oversight, like quarterly reports to Parliament on implementation failures and penalties for delay. It mustn't just be an ad hoc process in order to enhance transparency and accountability. I'm going to conclude. I'm concluding. So the issue that I'm emphasizing and why I've gone through all of this detail is the importance for us now to get a report from the department on how far they are with the review of the legislation for the military ombud and what steps they will take to present to us as a committee how the legislation is going to be amended in order to address these very serious concerns that we have raised. This means the departments must tell us, are they going to present to us amendments to the legislation? And will they be able to do so within the framework of the time frames that we are functioning in the 7th administration? Because if they fail to do so timelessly, we will end up in an unfortunate situation that we will not be able to conclude such legislative changes before the end of the term of the 7th administration. I would recommend that the department urgently inform us accordingly. If the department is failing in coming up with such amendments to the legislation on the basis also of the consultation between itself and the military ombud, then I would like to recommend, and I want a response from us as committee members, but also from the Ombud and from the Department of Defense, that either we as a committee proceed with a committee bill in order to address these serious problems and the independence of the military ombud, or alternatively, that we agree that a private member's bill will be required in order to do so. And then, of course, if it's a private member's bill, any of us also as members of this committee will have the standing and the right to introduce such a bill on the basis of these glaring problems that had been identified but have not been addressed for now in terms of the legislative review of over 5 years, which is really an unacceptably long period. Thanks for indulging me, Chair. I conclude herewith.
Thank you, Honorable Nihas. Honorable Harding.
Thank you, Chair. We have been told that the military ombud has achieved 89% resolution and reduced carryover cases. So this is administrative performance. But we have also now heard of the 29 outstanding military ombud recommendations that remain unimplemented, even after ministerial implementation instructions were issued. Now, this is not an investigation problem, this is a compliance problem. In case of the case, the reason given is awaiting policy alignment or in process or awaiting reimbursement. Some matters dating back to 2018, 2019. So the elephant in the room must be heard. Even when the Ombud upholds a complaint, and even when a minister issues an implementation instruction, I think in the military it is understood as an order. The department still does not execute. So that means the real bottleneck sits within the SANF, inside HR, inside service level implementation. So today we must determine who is accountable for execution, and what are the deadlines? What are the consequences that follows non-compliance with a ministerial instruction? Because justice delayed after ministerial instruction is justice denied. Now, I can understand from the presentation that some of the instructions given by the minister is very difficult to implement. But then it cannot stop there. The minister must be approached. There must be some process, or it must be implemented within reasonable time. It cannot sit there for 8 years waiting for something to happen that will never happen. Specific questions, Chair. The Ombud. Is the Ombud satisfied that once the implementation instruction has been issued by the minister, that the department execute it with reasonable time and reasonable explanations? And in other words, are those explanations acceptable to the Ombud? And then we come to the real issue. We know there's no enforcement mechanism left to the Ombud other to report it, but is it being frequently reported? What other actions are there and other options are there left for the Ombud to implement? So also on numbers, how many of the upheld recommendations are currently still at the minister, stalled due to policy alignment or interdepartmental resistance? And is this a systemic governance problem that should be resolved? Then mention was made on the COE, the cost of employment. But if we look at the structure of 89, 34% of the 89 approved in the structure are corporate support, supporting themselves. That's 34%, supporting themselves and the rest of the structure. This is a very, very heavy corporate support load that needs to be carried. Is this acceptable? I'm sure that not a single company out there can have more than a third of its structure just supporting itself, with only a limited number of the approved structure of 89 actually doing the investigative work. I would like to have a response on that. Then to the Minister, the annual report confirms that the office continues to experience institutional and operational independence challenges, and the amendment of the Military Ombud Act is required. And that process has apparently started in 2020. Now, by when will the work that started in 2020 reach the amendment bill status that can be tabled in Parliament, or has it been abandoned? And if it has been abandoned, why? And will it then explicitly address the lack of enforcement powers and implementation compliance of Ombud recommendations? Who is personally accountable for ensuring compliance, and what action has been taken against officials responsible for delays, if any, and if not, why not? Now, a thing that I've also addressed in my questions to the Ombud: how is it possible that a ministerial implementation instruction in the military terms order can be stalled indefinitely pending policy alignment? Does internal SANDF policy override the Minister of Defence powers in this instance? And then, Minister, we've been sitting with this problem annually. will the minister commit introducing mandatory implementation deadlines, for example, 60 or 90 days for all accepted Ombud recommendations? I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Harting. Honorable Noah.
Thank you, Chair. As you can see, I am in the car. Just to show my face, I will switch off my camera because it will not be stable. Thank you very much, Chair. Once again, also, I will stand on the protocol established by thanking the presentations and the Minister and the Deputy Minister. Chair, I'll be very short because most of the things have already been covered. Firstly, Chair, I'm on the issue of the outstanding cases. My dissatisfaction, which I would like maybe the department to consider giving more meat to its answer on the outstanding cases. Just to say the matter is in the process. It's not enough, especially for us who are not within the department. It's not clear, it's too broad what is in the process. That's what we want to hear so that we can understand that indeed there is timelines, there is work going on, but just to say it is in the process, for me, it is just not enough. To Chair, looking at the number of those outstanding cases, I would like to hear from the Minister or the department. Are they satisfied with the work that has been done by the ombuds? Because from the look of the things, the number of cases that are outstanding from where I look at it, it has got an element of discouraging rather than encouraging the ombuds to do more on what it is doing, because one can vouch that since we have been receiving reports from ombuds, you have seen the energy and the intention from the general to make sure that this institution do function. So I would really like the department to comment and consider that that can actually ultimately demoralize the good work that is being done. Lastly, Chair, on the issue of the procurement delays, as it was outlined or reported, it's also not enough. Perhaps if we could hear what is the nature of the delays that will ultimately make ombuds to return such amount, because is it the delays that are more within the ombuds itself or are outside, so that that area can be attended to, so that we have an understanding where is the blockage, why are those delays, if we have the understanding of the nature of those delays. Chair, thank you very much. Those would be my inputs and questions.
Thank you, Honorable Nwe. Honorable Hala.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning once more. Chair, mine is with the ombuds. You are saying that in his office there are so many vacancies. And the challenge now here is, it doesn't say to us how are those vacancies impact on the fulfillment of his duties. Also, it doesn't say anything about timeframes to fill in those posts. The last one is with the last presentation on complaints received. The general was saying that, and 3 others. And now my question is, what are those 3 others? Could she please explain to us? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Hala. Honorable Togozile.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Chairperson, let me first thank the report that was presented to us by the Office of the Ombudsman, together with the response from the department. Starting with the report of the Ombudsman, looking at the procurement delays that have affected the expenditure. And as such, there was an amount that was returned. And yet, on the compensation of employees, there is an over expenditure. And then I'm saying that if the delays in the procurement are affecting the expenditure, and yet we have a shortfall in the COE, it is going to cause a problem because we're going to say that we have performed, and yet the performance is not there. If we are looking at the procurement that has caused the non-implementation of some of the issues that Ombudsman has said they will be done. Then again, the COE and the funding, this will affect the filling of the vacancies within the Ombudsman. And the Ombudsman is still, the Ombudsman's office is still having a debt to some of the offices, that is the filling of the vacancies, for those people to perform those duties. But nonetheless, at least the performance is there. Because we last got the report in November, at least now, we can see that at least there is an improvement. Then going to the response and the complaints and the implementation of those complaints. I thought we were going to get the time frame on the implementation. As the recommendation is saying, some of them, they are talking about the policy gap. Because if we're talking about a policy gap, then it says that we must embark on legislative review. Because if we don't talk to the legislative review, it will have an effect on the effectiveness of the office of the ombudsman. Because I thought we were going to have a process that will talk to that legislative reforms in order to address those policies that cause non-implementation and some of them, and other issues that affect the office of ombudsman. And then also, when we get this, because these 29 complaints, they're written correctly, but except to say that we think by such and such a date or such and such a month, this one will be done. So that we look at that time frame. Otherwise, you'll have a piling up of complaints, some that were supposed to be done in 2024 and some in 2025. I think looking at the implementation, at least what time, but the legislative reforms, we need to start the processes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Takwazile. Honorable Njingela.
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick one to the Ombud. If the initial structure was 89 employees and the current COE exceeds the current allocation, and yet they meet and exceed their targets. Isn't it proper for the ombuds to do an OD and review their structure, because seemingly they can perform without filling the post, not unless they indicate the technical expertise of the vacant post, because clearly they are not that technical and that significant if they can perform and exceed their targets. And lastly, Chair, very disappointing that the cases of 2024 that are still not resolved, and the attitude and the appetite from the report doesn't indicate the agency of resolving these matters. So I will urge, but also members have echoed that our minister's instructions have more authority or policy delays, because we need to know so that we can be able to intervene when necessary. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Njengela. Thanks, members. From me, I think I've got two. The human resource management and conditions of service are primary drivers of this dissatisfaction. It appears, as members have indicated here, the issue is more on the HR. I think the HR, if they can explain, they can explain that to the members. And the last issue to the ombuds is that there are very high referral rate. Matters are referred to other public institutions. What's the problem? Does this suggest that there's an overlap between defense, labor, administration, or any other oversight bodies? Is there possible misunderstanding by complainants regarding the mandate? I think if the ombuds can just explain to that, and other issues, I think, which I know that they've been asked by members. I am going to, Minister, I'm going to hand over to starting with the ombuds and I hope they've noted all the issues which were raised by members. I will start with the ombud and follow up with the department, and I will then give you the deputy minister if he's still here, and your minister, to make some remarks on issues raised by the members. Minister, let me start with the ombud. General Masondo, I hope you have noted, members have noted all the issues raised by the members. Can we proceed in that order?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I will attempt to respond to the question in the sequence in which they were posed, starting with the questions from Honorable Neos. And of course, he started by making general remarks about deep structural and operational flaws and the need for a legislative review. But coming to the specific concern was the issue of investigative powers, no power to initiate own investigation. This is an issue that we are looking into in terms of the legislative review process that we are currently embarking on. Because indeed there are many instances where we see things happening which are within the mandate of the office but were not able to take them on because we receive no complaints from the affected people. And of course, the issue of the independence of the office is the issue that we've been engaged with for quite some time. In fact, from the time I joined the office. But I think there's a challenge, especially coming from Treasury, to say there are many oversight institutions which are placing a heavy burden on the fiscus. And therefore, there must be ways of making sure that these oversight institutions can function in a collaborative manner without burdening the fiscus. For instance, one of the proposals was in terms of shared services, which we discussed extensively with the Treasury. And of course, for that to actually succeed, there was also a proposal that there should be a service level agreement between the department and the office to ensure that as an office, at least we've got enhanced autonomy in terms of satisfying our requirements so that we don't have to depend so much on the department. And of course, he expressed long delays in terms of implementing recommendations. This is also a concern from our side, which is why there's a liaison forum between my office and the department where these delays are discussed, not only in implementation, but also delays in terms of provision of the necessary information to be able to continue with our investigation. And then yeah, and of course, he then also came with a question on the necessary measures that have to be taken to enhance the work of the Ombud. And of course, some of this we've addressed through the presentation and also through not just the current presentation in the past, where we strongly feel that if the office can have enhanced autonomy and also be able to embark on own initiative investigation, that would actually that will lead to the enhancement of the work of the Ombud and the belief, particularly from complainants, that the Ombud is an effective institution in terms of dealing with their complaints. And of course, the issue of operational independence, I must emphasize that in terms of our work, core work of investigating complaints, we are fully independent. We don't have any challenges in that. But the main challenge arises from actually satisfying the requirements of the office that have impact in terms of the investigations that we do. And of course, he proposed that there must be quarterly reports to Parliament in terms of providing answers of why there are delays in implementing the recommendations of the Ombud. This is a view that we also support. We express concern that the review is taking long, the legislative review, and whether this actually will be completed before the end of the 7th administration. I need to point out that we have started with the legislative review, but part of the delays have been occasioned by the fact of the changes in the ministers, because whenever a new minister comes in, we have to thoroughly brief her in terms of the review that we want to make, and also therefore solicit the minister's support in terms of that. But now, yes, we have completed the process of briefing the minister, and internally we are continuing with the review process of our legislation, but not fully addressing the issue of the independence of the office. And therefore, we will keep the committee informed in terms of the progress we're making in terms of this. Safe to emphasize the fact that we have done some work internally, which we have to finalize, and we will then start with outside consultation as soon as possible. I hope I've answered the question from Honorable Niels, but if there are follow-up questions, we can also look into those. From Honorable Harting, raise the issue of that the non-implementation or delay in implementation of a recommendation is actually a compliance problem. And therefore propose that at least there should be deadlines in terms of complying with the minister's instruction for implementation. We are of the view that actually that would assist in pushing the process forward. And then there's a question whether we are satisfied as an office that once the minister has issued the instruction, is the instruction or rather is implementation done promptly. Of course, we do understand some of the challenges that the department is faced with in terms of implementing some of this, but we're of the view that at least there could be an attempt to actually expedite the implementation. Honorable Harting expressed concern about the support structure vis-a-vis the operational structure. In terms of the approved posts of the office, the support posts, posts in the support structure are 20 posts vis-a-vis 69 posts in the operational structure. And I think this is a fair balance because the posts that are there in the support structure are to ensure that the office can be able to function optimally in terms of other tasks that we have outside the core business of investigating complaints. Well, I think the other questions then were actually directed to the department. Then Honorable No wanted to confirmation whether the procurement delays are actually within the office or outside the office. I want to assure the honorable member that the delays that we experience are delays that are outside the office. Because from our side, from the time we come back from our planning work session, and where we are able then to identify requirements that we need as an office, then we speedily channel those to the department to be processed. However, there are always delays in actually satisfying this. I want to just cite one example.
As an office, we took a decision that we were going to have perception surveys every 4 years. Now, these surveys we conduct to just assess our stakeholders in terms of how their understanding of our mandate and also how satisfied they are with the service that we render to them. And we're supposed to have done this in the previous financial year. Because of procurement challenges, it couldn't happen. And within this financial year, we started again the procurement process at the beginning of the year, of the financial year. But it's only now in December that we actually got approval that we can continue. And in this respect, I also, because that survey will also be covering members of Parliament, or rather the Joint Standing Committee, we request that you also cooperate and support that survey. And then from Honorable, there was a concern whether the many vacancies that we have don't impact on service delivery. I want to assure the honorable member that they do. Sorry?
Honorable Bludgers, can you mute, please? Sorry, General, can you proceed?
Yes. I say an office that is as small as our office, we cannot afford to have so many vacancies, which take more than a year to actually fill, you know. So it's a matter of serious concern to us. And we've been liaising with the department to try and expedite this. And we're still working on it. And then from Honorable Sokanyile, she expressed concern that the procurement delays lead to us not being able to fully spend our operational budget, and thus having some money returned whilst we still, whilst we have requirements that were not satisfied. This, of course, it's a serious challenge for the office. And the fact that we have to continuously utilize money that is supposed to support us in doing our work to actually cover the shortfall on the COE expenditure. And I've already touched on the issue of filling of vacancies and the frustration we have around this issue. From Honorable Nchingila, alluded to the fact that we've got about 89 posts, but we're able to make do with the 63 posts that we have, and whether this does not call for organizational development study, and to see if we cannot actually reduce the posts. I need to I need to point out that we actually require all the posts, the 89 posts that are there. Because one of the things we wanted to do as an office is to have regional offices, so that through those, our complainants can be able to reach us quicker and better. But we are not able to do that because currently with the posts that we have, we cannot cover that. And also, these posts are meant, if we become independent as an institution, for instance, in the procurement environment, the prescripts demand that there's a separation of duties and all that, and therefore we should have sufficient numbers of staff to ensure that. So yes, I want to reconfirm that the 89 posts are posts that we require, and it's a pity that given the current circumstances or situation, we're not able to fully staff those posts. And from Honorable Pala, he noted the fact that there's a high referral rate and therefore wanted to know whether this suggests that there's an overlap in terms of our mandate and the mandate of other Ombud institutions. Honorable Pala, the referrals that we make are in terms of the complaints that we receive that are not within our mandate. And our act provides that we shouldn't just dismiss those, but actually assist the complainants to redirect their complaints to the correct oversight institution. So, which is what we do. But I need to point out something that is also of concern to us. As an office, we're not required to take on complaints where members of the SANDF have not exhausted the internal grievance process. But we find that we receive a lot of complaints of members who have not done that. Out of frustration that at times there are complaints that are taken through the grievance process take long than the prescribed time frames. And of course, in these instances, we then urge the department to ensure that they keep to those time frames so that we don't experience this frustration of members coming to our office prematurely. I'll stop there unless there's some aspect I didn't address in terms of the questions that were posed. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, General. Members, I think the General has tried to answer our questions, but I will provide you a follow-up questions if you have. Okay, let's proceed to the department.
Chair.
Honorable Harding.
I certainly have a follow-up. The General indicated that my question about the corporate support of 34% is wrong. When I said that 34% corporate is there to support themselves and the rest of the 89 people that potentially may be in the department. He denied that, but I would like to perhaps ask him to reconsider his response after reading what is on page 10 of the annual report. The organizational structure is designed to align with its current mandate, vision, outcomes, and outputs, enabling the effective execution of its responsibility. The structure consists of 89 positions with 66 dedicated to the office core business, resolution of complaints, and 34% to corporate support staff. That's the core of my question, which is now being repudiated by the General coming from his own annual report. I would like him to respond on that. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Harding. Members, do you have some follow-up questions to the ombuds?
Chair, have you seen my hand?
Yeah, okay, let me just wait.
Okay.
I don't see hands here. Okay, Honorable Nihos, then I do have one. Okay, let me afford you an opportunity to follow up question, but let's be short, Honorable Nihos.
Yes, I'll be short, Chair. I actually was thinking that we may ask the follow-up questions also after the presentation from the department. I've got two follow-up questions, but the one may be impacted on by the response of the department, and that is about the legislative process that is required in order to address the problems that the military ombud is faced with, because these are clearly legislative and structural and will not simply be resolved without having changed the law. The other question that perhaps General Masondo can respond to now is the issue of the liaison forum that he has referred to. We have raised concerns about the still considerable number of complaints that are outstanding, and General Masondo's response was, well, we're trying to deal with this in terms of the liaison forum that I have with the department. Can the General indicate to us the effectiveness of that forum? Does the forum meet regularly? And why has the existence of this forum and its meeting not impacted more significantly on the number of outstanding complaints that have still not been addressed? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Newhouse. General Masondo, mine is on slide 9 of the categories of new complaints on the other, that number 11, other, which is 302. This is a serious issue of concern, that, as you say, 302 complaints, which is more than half of the complaints. The issue is that, can you give us a detailed breakdown of this other category, as well as what specific issues are contained within this other? Those are my issue of follow-up question, General. General, let's give you an opportunity just to answer the 3 questions which are posed by members. Thank you. General Masondo?
Sorry, thank you very much. Coming back to the question by Honorable Harting, if we have to look at the corporate support structure, it covers activities like policy, strategy and planning, financial management, logistics, human resource management, ICT, and facilities, security and reception management. Now, in terms of the staffing of that area, we find that the personnel that is there actually is not adequately staffed to be able to do their functions efficiently and properly. And as a result, we find that we depend a lot on interns just to beef up the numbers there and get better work done. But from conception of the structure, I think they looked at the extent of the support functions to then get this to constitute 34% of the overall structure. I don't know whether the Honorable Harting is satisfied with that, but that's the explanation I can give from my side. And then from Honorable Neos on the issue of the liaison forum and how effective it is. The liaison forum meets on a monthly basis. And of course, there are challenges that arise from that, because sometimes you find that representation from the services is not at the right level where they are able to respond to issues adequately. And then the other challenge there is the issue of some of the members not attending the meetings regularly. But apart from the liaison forum, I also meet with the Chief of the Defense on a monthly basis. And my meeting with the Chief of the Defense is to try, therefore, and resolve some of the problems that cannot be resolved at the level of the liaison forum. So we have built in those structures to try and ensure smooth running of our work. and our interface with the department. These are not structures that are prescribed or in the Act or regulations, but the structures that we conceived to ensure that our work can actually run smoothly. And then from you, Honorable Chair, on the category of others, I did indicate that the other covers, for instance, the number of those 237 complaints that we received from civilian employees of the former civilian employees of the department from Moosprey. It also covers complaints from veterans who are complaining about veterans' benefits from the Department of Veterans. And also it covers other complaints that do not necessarily fall within the mandate of the office. I'll hand over to the Director Intake and Analysis just to assist in explaining this further. Mr.
Thank you. It was switched off again, sorry. Thank you, General. Honorable Chair, members. Absolutely correct. In this specific year, we did have the 237 complaints from former civilian employees. I think what we experience in practice is that since we are the military ombud, any complaint that has anything to do with the military in the minds of people and some other ombuds institutions comes to our office. While it is not necessarily within the very narrow parameters of our legislative mandate, which is very specific. And we do find that many members from erstwhile statutory forces that never integrated do approach our office. We have some civilian disputes between members in the public where the
Your mic is off. Your mic is off.
It seems, thank you. I don't know when it went off again. It seems to be malfunctioning. Thanks, Advocate Marpin. So I do think that the very narrow definition of our mandate impacts that. We do have a significant amount of veterans that also approach our office. I think those are the main categories, General, as you have stated.
Thank you, Mr. P.
Thank you, General. Members, let's proceed. Let's afford the Defence Force to give clarity on issues which you raised, members. Minister, I think I'll directly start with General Ramanswana to lead us in that regard. General Ramanswana.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Thank you so much. Sorry for the delay. We didn't want to unmute. But thank you, Chairperson. We so much appreciate this engagement with the honorable members. Chairperson, I need to say that I'm going to give a summary of all the issues that have been raised by the honorable members without going to them blow by blow. But what I'll then do as well is to allow the colleagues that are with me just to give clarity, because even though I may not do that, but there are certain issues raised, those issues that we may want to attend to them, and if there's any follow-up, then we can deal with that one later. Chairperson, may I refer the honorable members to slide 7 of the military ombud presentation. And I am not sure, I do believe that the honorable members do have the presentation by the military ombud by way of copies. Now, in that slide number 7, this slide number 7 talks to us in terms of the total numbers, and I'm on column E, the total number of cases that have been finalized during the financial years, as indicated there, finalized by the military ombud. And also it then talks about the number of active cases at the end of the financial year that the military ombud still has to work on. These are the cases that are active in their books. Now, I need to say, if we look at these records, Chairperson, we have always understood in defense that once a case is finalized by the military ombud, finalized in the manner that it has been stated here, that would refer to the point of implementation of the case. Now, why am I raising this? I'm raising this to demonstrate something. If you go to our own presentation as the Department of Defense, you would have seen that the presenter pointed to the fact that we have got 29 cases known to us that must still be dealt with by the department. And therefore, with this logic, Chairperson, I want to say that once we have the 29 cases, there is so much that the department is doing to attempt to deal with all the grievances of the soldiers that would have gone past the military ombud. In fact, on the basis of this, I have also reminded my colleagues that it is important that we also maintain our own statistics, that as we present to members of the committee, where we say to the members of the committee, in this financial year, these are the cases that are known to the Department of Defense to have been finalized. Some argued it may not be necessary because the military ombud has got the records that are here. And these records would also include the efforts that have been made by the Department of Defense. So as we have the 29 cases, it doesn't mean that having 29 cases that are outstanding, nothing the department has done zero. That is not what it means. The department has done a lot in terms of this to ascertain that the cases that we have that are with the military ombud that they are dealt with, they might have been overlapping in terms of the financial years, but there has been a lot of contribution to this effect. Now, let me come to the point why the outstanding 29 cases. Chair, I must say that it is a delay. We are not disagreeing with the word delay. And the word delay is quite relevant. This necessitated the need for the military ombud, as the military ombud has pointed before. The military ombud and the chief of the defense force, they meet in person in regard with regards to these cases to deal with many of the issues that may need to be straightened out, where the military ombud has got certain challenges with us, and these issues are discussed there. So I'm saying it is important to note, if I take the presentation that we have done ourselves, where policy issues are involved, at each and every level of a grievance, due diligence must be done. At each and every level of that grievance, due diligence must be done. For there are a lot of implications. If you have got a grievance, and that grievance in itself points to a policy gap, or it points to a policy that is there, and according to the military ombud's recommendation, it is reasonable to implement that grievance in a way, to action it. The first thing that we have to look at is our policy instruments, is to look at our laws, is to look at some of the court outcomes that the department has had before. So it's not a straightforward matter that it is there, just sign it off, it's on your desk, and send it there. Because if that was to happen, this might create more and more problems. You're trying to solve a problem, but because of a certain way of behaving and dealing with them, then you create more problems. Now, I am saying so, where a matter requires a policy that needs to be reviewed, because first of all, let me use a simple example of promotion. If the issue is about the promotion of an individual, that matter has to be covered somewhere in legislation. No, it has to be covered in a policy, in a policy document. So what does this mean? It means that you must go back to your policies. And in reviewing that policies, the department, just to indicate to you the policy procedures of the department, that policy must be consulted. And in consulting on that policy, it's not a once-off thing. There must be engagement with your legal instruments in the Department of Defense. And then you need to be wary about the financial aspects of where financial aspects are involved. And if it's a matter of a promotion, surely the financial aspects are involved in that. And therefore, then you've got to also consult with the policy advisors that are there. This just amongst other things. And somewhere it is not a straight line. It's not necessarily a straight line. We have had this experience before, that it is not a straight line. In some other issues, at some point, we even had to approach National Treasury. Now, I'm saying this is not a straight matter like that. I'm saying we've dealt with, we've got 29. But when you read on those 29, you find that some of them, they are time lapsed in the sense that they've been overtaken by events. That's what you will read in that document. Some of them, the majority of them, there's a question that says that they need to be explained. When you say implementation is in process, what do you mean? I agree with that. I agree with that. On that one, we probably need to make sure that we can provide more clarity to say, when we say this one is in process of being implemented, what does this mean? Does it mean that policies are already in place? What does this one mean? I've just prepped my HR colleagues to say that they must please be ready to shed some light in this regard. So these are the things. So what am I saying? I'm saying where the military ombuds has dealt with the case and the case has been finalized, it means either they respond from the public protector they received and that says implement, or any other institution for that matter. And this would also not include the defense. So once we have the 29, we do have the 29, and those 29, we are not so much concerned about them right now in terms of implementation, except to say, have emphasized the point that they must be released out as soon as possible. And I heard the honorable member spoke about deadlines. And I have already indicated to the colleagues here to say that I think the deadlines will be very key. And in terms of their implementation, Chairperson, it's going to happen. And we have deliberated on some of them, wherein we're looking at the timeframes of that. Our colleagues to say that please they must come up with the deadlines in terms of all of this. So the process of being implemented, and we are not differing so much with the concerns of the members of parliament. So Chair, this is where we are. What am I saying? The victory of the military ombudsman is our victory. And I am also saying that the 29 cases that we have, they are the cases that are known between ourselves and the military ombudsman. We know these cases. But let's look at the achievements. I've referred to slide number 7 of the military ombudsman, and that it would not be possible for the military ombud to complete all those cases. If other institutions in government that the military ombud consult with are not contributing for the military ombud's efforts to make sure get their cases finalized, that I would want to, I'm sitting here, there's two people that are here, and it's I have got Admiral Machimani and I've got Mr. Mvulu, just so that they can clear on some of the cases that, on some of the issues that have been raised. But most important, I have indicated to them that the issue of the deadlines, we take that one, Chairperson. We honestly, and the issue of saying it's in the implementation process, we accept that. I think that is very important coming from the committee itself. Thank you so much. I'll ask Admiral Machimane if you can kindly.
Chairperson, the Minister of Defense and Military Veteran. Sorry.
Yeah, the chair says proceed.
Thank you very much.
Proceed,
Firstly, I'll proceed. Thank you.
Your network seems to be sorry, Admiral. Your network seems to be not. Can you just okay? Just come again. Let's see whether we can hear you.
Thank you very much. I'll start firstly with the question on that was raised, which is on slide 6 of our presentation, speaking to the nature of complaint received, and then with regard to what are the others, the 3 others. You'll notice that the nature of the complaint are mostly HR or HR related. So the others are those that we consider that are not necessarily of HR nature. And in our hyperlink document, if I can just refer you there as well, the 3 of them, it will be serial number 22, serial number 23, as well as serial number 29. You will take note that the members who has affected here are public members, not necessarily serving. The 2 are public members, and the 3rd one used to be in a military. We should have indicated is retired. The ones who requested the issue on the grave, the attendance of or visiting the grave. So when we refer to the 3, is outside the HR element. And the second part that I need to comment on is, yes, we are correct that a lot of grievances emanate within the HR space or ambit. What complicates the matter here is the Department of Defense HR system is decentralized in its functioning. So invariably, you'll find different interpretation of a policies from different levels wherein that policy is being executed, and that gives rise to members complaining. So yes, a lot of grievances emanate from within HR application of policies, and it's as a result of members not satisfied with either the response that is they receive from their commanders or the interpretation of a HR practitioner who does not necessarily report to HR, chief HR, but report to the subunit that is there. As the general has given an example, promotion. The promotion policy in the Army is unique to the Army. The promotion policy of Air Force is unique to the Air Force. And then they're not necessarily the same. There are salient principles that are the same, but in terms of other element, it's unique to that particular environment. The delays in policy alignment or adjustment, as the general has indicated, I just want to give a classical example. Currently, there's 34 38 policies that must be reviewed because they have reached their lifespan or they're about to expire. Of that 38, there's 5 that we consider critical and urgent. So meaning that all the resources is going to be focusing on that particular 5. So I'll say this delay over and above what the general has indicated is a structural arrangement of the HR policy unit that is responsible to adjust or amend the policies to give impact or to give or to implement whatever decisions that have bearing in the policy space. That's all on my side in terms of the addition that I needed to do, and I trust I've done justice to the questions that I attempted to answer. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Admiral. Advocate.
Chairperson, from our side, that is all that we would have wanted to indicate. And we would want to hand back to yourself. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so I thought you said the Admiral and the Advocate, but if that's the case, no problem. Thank you very much, General. We will now afford our Deputy Ministers, Deputy Minister Holmisa and all Deputy Ministers, if are here, to say something before we give the Minister an opportunity to say to respond to some issues raised by the members. Deputy Ministers, are you here? If none, Minister, I think it's time now to afford you an opportunity to say to clarify some of the issues which were raised by members, which was specifically referred to you. Minister, the platform is yours.
No, thank you very much, Chair. And let me also thank members for the engagement. And most of the questions would have been answered, and I hope I've not missed any. But as an opening line, Chair, I thought one thing we also have to compliment ourselves as a country, which we sometimes don't do. I was attending an international ombuds meeting. As South Africa, there are less than 3 countries in the continent which have an ombuds office. In the world, where there are 195 countries, there are not more than 50 countries with an ombuds office. And I was very proud that in South Africa, we're amongst the 50. I think we should celebrate that. On the matters of reports, Chair, I think both the ombuds and the Chief of Staff says we do meet regularly. Even privately, where I meet with the ombuds, I meet also with the chair, with the Chief of Defense when there are matters that require discussions. And I must say, if there's any office that works well, and we've been interacting, not only physically, I was saying to ombuds every week, I know I have to dedicate a day to the reports of the ombuds, well written, but also intensive. The part that the ombuds relates to around autonomy, which I think members have raised, and member County House has raised about the autonomy. I'm sure it's a matter that requires further discussion, because he's quite right that ombuds, that every minister comes in, because when he raised the matter with me, I was saying to him, I've worked with an independent state autonomy, Section 9, your public protector. And I said to him, of the 20 reports that were issued against the department, only 2 were forced on us through the courts. So what we did, we spent time in the courts with an instruction which could have been resolved amicably. So I will still, going forward, prefer that we have this kind of arrangement, because it doesn't mean that if an ombud says implement, it means implement. If it's not implementable, as a department, you have the right to go to court and say, we find it difficult to implement. And I must say, most of the time, Chair, the court agreed with us as a department around unimplementable decisions. Hence, it's very important for us to discuss, agree where we are agreeing, which we have been doing a lot. the member did say how many, these are outstanding, but how many have been resolved through these engagements? And I can say quite many where we find each other between the department, my office, and the ombuds. So if the committee feels that it wants to go and apply for another Section 9 organization which is independent from the department, which reports to Parliament, it's their call, because then it means Parliament will issue their budget and they will report to Parliament. But if they report to the department, we can only work within the laws that govern that institution. But some of the matters raised, when I engage, even this week, we engaged with the ombuds. I said, ombuds, what is this autonomy? Is it administrative that you can run your own resources, you can make your own appointments? Said yes. I said, that's an administrative issue, it's not a legal issue. Let's find ways of managing it within the department. And when I say manage, I really mean it, because you will be aware that we have serious financial constraints with the HR budget going, just really undermining everything in the department. So sections are not allowed to appoint on their own outside the basket because of the very grave situation we find ourselves. This year already, our HR budget is overspending with almost 4 billion. And the decision has been to contain it. Let everything come to the central basket. But what I can commit to the committee, because lots of units, not only the ombuds, is suffering because of that. We said, let's go back to the basket, prioritize within our budget, so that we're not, we don't find ourselves having to spend that. There were 95 approved posts. We can only fill 600. Therefore, let's do 300 to be able to comply. Whereas this thing falls within the global budget of the department, and it's things that are committed to the ombuds. Also, in terms of policy, as I say, some of the things that they're raising, which the last speaker raised, that I said to the chief HR that most of the cases that come from ombuds are HR. Let's identify issues that keep on coming from the HR, because if we can resolve these policy issues, it's even going to have both administrative advantages for us. I won't find myself reading piles of ombuds reports, but we also will not find ourselves, the ombud, needing more people to process. Actually, we can find ourselves, if we can solve these policy gaps, being able to rationalize and reduce the workload of the ombuds, and therefore not needing the posts that we need in the face of the difficulties that we have. So, Chair, so there was also a question to say the instruction of the minister becoming law. The law doesn't work like that. If the minister wants to overrun what is law, you have to put it in writing and give reasons. The PFMA is quite serious. Defense, this has serious financial implications, Minister. And I'll give you examples where he would have cited to say, yes, I agree, the ombuds wants the following, but he says we should pay back for so many years. These are the financial implications. It's not possible. Can we be able to pay for the time there's been a gap in terms of payments? And we go back to the ombuds and we are agreed. But I can't just say, this is my will, and just boss myself around and say, you are going to do the following. I will prefer, perhaps in the leadership position, to work through engagement, to work through persuasions, to work through engagement. So I can say, Chair, I will not be able, I just have no intention of saying my law is the law. So if I say implement, is implement. If I said implement and the defense comes back to say these are the challenges, I am willing to sit down with them and not make my last word the law. But if at some stage I feel that the department is not reasonable, then I'm able to say, Chief, I don't agree with you, implement this. And we have been able to differ, agree to differ and get implementation. So we can't go case by case to say, in this case we're differed, but when I said, no, Chief, I'm not agreeing with you, please implement, they implement. There will be instances where the Chief says, no, Minister, this is not, it's a policy. Well, you're going to be breaking the law if you say I must implement this outside policy, I've had to accept if they give me reasonable, just reasonable explanations. Chair. So I'm not sure if I've missed other things because I thought colleagues from both the ombuds and the department have responded, but I must assure you, we work very well with the ombuds. We respect the ombuds, and it really releases some of the tensions that will possibly happen if we didn't have the ombuds office to help us mediate some of the inefficiencies and difficulties in the department. So it really saves us from very serious tensions that could arise. We have unions, and I can tell you, because of the role of the ombuds, even when we meet with unions, most of the issues that would have created tensions would have been resolved or dealt with through the Ombuds office. So it is a very critical office for both the smooth administration of the department, but also for relationships between workers in the department, especially the soldiers, and the Department of Defense. So I really want to stop at the chair and say, I really appreciate the engagement, and we will follow up on issues. But whether we have appetite to go and draw the law for autonomy, I just don't, I'm not convinced. Issues there are policy. Policy doesn't want law. Issues are administrative. Administration doesn't need law. But if Parliament feels that it wants another Section 9 body get their own members bill, take it, and then go to it's their call, and go to Parliament and have it as a parliamentary report to Parliament, not to the department. It's the call of the committee. We don't have any power to really decide which way to go. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Minister. Minister, this is. I'm sorry about that, Minister. This institution is a heartbeat of our democracy, and we are pleased, Minister, to hear that you have time with our officials. You have time with the ombudsman to deal with the issues which the ombudsman is facing, and members. I don't know if you've got follow-up questions to the minister. But if you have, I'll just give you very short time.
Yes, Chair, I've got my hand up.
You've got your hand up, Honorable Nihos, and who else, members? Is there anyone?
My hand's up, Chair.
Okay, Honorable Harding. Okay, the two of you, please, short question to the minister. Starting with you. Let me start with you, Honorable Harding.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I will not ask the question about who is the in command of the SANDF again. That's still outstanding, but I would like to ask, seeing that number of these grievances are many of the issues are grievances. I would like to know whether the individual grievance regulations of 2011 was fully implemented, and if the grievance board, as contemplated in section 16 of those regulations, has been established and is functioning effectively. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Harding. Honorable Nihos?
Yes, thank you, Chair. I must say I now understand why we in a 5-year cycle on the review of the legislation, because evidently, if I understood the minister correctly, she's got no appetite to address the issue of the review of the legislation. And here comes my concern. There seems to be a clear disjunction now between the position that the minister holds on this matter and what we had been told by the military ombud, General Masondu, who said that they are indeed working on presenting some review of the legislation. I get the impression that the minister tells us she's not interested in doing so because she's got a good working relationship with the military ombud, and she believes from her perspective that issues are being resolved. Now, obviously, this is an informal arrangement, And it may work sometimes and it may not work sometimes, which is exactly why legislative review is there in order to make sure that it proceeds always. And of course, secondly, the relationship between the minister and the Ombud, in this instance, apparently good. In other instances, we've heard historically not so good. The issue of the independence of the office, especially in terms of investigation and being able to also initiate its own independent investigations, regardless of whether complaints are presented to them, is also a matter of legislation. So these are my concerns, and they are not addressed by the fact that the minister seems to tell us she's got no appetite for legislative review. And that places us as a committee in the position where we will have to take the driver's seat, so to speak, on this matter and drive the issue of legislative review and, if need be, the introduction of a committee bill or a private member's bill. I would like to hear from the minister, but I think she's given us the answer. If that is correct, I also would like to hear from General Musondu, because there seemed to be a disjuncture between what he told us and what the minister just shared with us. So that clarity is absolutely essential for how we take the legislative process and the review forward as a joint standing committee. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable. Minister, do you want to, can I put
No, Chair, I can check. In all honesty, Mr. Hatting, I am not able to answer because I would need to first go and check what you referred to about the 2011 matter. So I can check with the legal team and they will guide me and then we'll come back to you. So I'm not able to give you an honest and well-thought answer at this stage, but I commit to go and check on the matters that you have raised. The other matters raised by no, with Mr. Hatting, I will come back as soon as possible, as long as I can be, because he referred to a matter to, I think, decision of 2011, which I'm not aware of. And for me to be able to give him the correct and the honest answer, I'll have to go and consult and come back to him. So I'm making that commitment. Okay. On the matters raised by Member Khan, I did say that I can't say you can't go and do a member's split. I say it's up to the committee if they want to do that. And I also said in our discussions with the ombuds around autonomy, I said specifically what are the areas that are really problematic. And in my engagement with him, my understanding was that there were policy issues. And I said, does policy need legislation? Can't we deal with policy issues, that alignment within, without necessarily then going to legislation if possible? Indeed, the policy, that's why when we're reporting to say we're not implement with policy alignment, those we're dealing with. And then the others he raised with me, which were urgent, about the appointment of staff in the office. I said it's an administrative issue, and there's a decision which not only affects the ombuds, but is to say because of our HR budget, we are unable to give units the power to appoint, to make sure that we can be able to contain, but also admits that we are aware that that decision or that process is harmful to other units. So in the new financial year, despite and faced by the fact that in the new financial year, our HR budget is going to shoot up with more than 4 billion extra money, we still have to reconsider and say which units we have to scale down. There are units that we've even had to consider to say, yes, it's a very important unit, but in the face of our challenges, perhaps we should integrate the work. So it's an ongoing work, and therefore it has to be discussed within a basket. And I said to General Mason, on issues of the ombuds being able to implement on its own on an approved budget, I said, and I admitted to him, I said, I think it's a very inefficient way of managing a budget which has been approved. The SANDF must work with the Ombuds Office to ensure that we have the administrative autonomy to implement your approved budget in terms of expenditure, so that you don't have these late procurements which makes them to return money once they have needs. But on the HR, we still have to discuss, because we're faced with a crisis around HR. Therefore, it's difficult for us as department to say, no, go ahead and appoint. We have to sit down and say, what is it that we do differently to be able to contain the budget overruns? And we've been doing with other departments to say, use ICT. And I mean, I must say, agree that we must go out and have outreach and look for people that needs our services and have those outreaches, have different researches. Those are very important things to do, but are we able to do them now in the context of our financial challenges? Not that we don't want them. We have approved them, but unfortunately, we can't afford them. And therefore, we have to make choices. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Minister, for your response. And Minister, any other thing which hasn't been responded to, please let's respond in writing. Minister, we have another matter which is very important, and we will want your indulgence on this matter once again. The issue which was raised by members sometimes back on the allowance payment for deployment, and we have received the presentation, and I don't know who's going to present on this one, Minister. I think I'll hand over to you once again to present the presentation on outstanding allowances. Minister,
General Ramaswamy, I know HR gave us a report. General Ramaswamy would say who's going to present, because in our meetings they did present. So, General.
Yeah, my hand is up.
Chairperson, my hand is up.
Just hold, Minister. Honorable Blagis.
No, Chair. Good morning again to everyone. Chair, I just want you to put it to this meeting that we've only received this presentation now. I don't know how we engage properly on it by only getting it now.
Yes, we just received it now, but let's support the ministry to present on it, and yeah, we'll still discuss about it.
Chairperson, if I may.
Yeah, you talk.
Chair, this I would like to agree with Honourable Plaatje. It is very unfortunate that the presentation was received literally, I think, 15 minutes ago. And having looked at the presentation, I'm not sure why it took so long to present this to the to the committee. Now, as the member who originally requested this item to come before the committee, I would like to raise a further point. And this is that the original request for a presentation was not a presentation that should simply come and tell us that according to HR, all members have been paid their deployment allowances. The original request from myself to yourself and the co-chairperson in July last year was that the Department of Defense must come and explain to this committee exactly what the breakdown is of the 813.3 million rand that was allocated to the department over and above the previous year's budget, specifically for the allowances or the deployment allowances of our troops. Now, you will recall that amongst other things, and several complaints that we receive from the troops who were deployed in the SAMI DRC deployment in the DRC, was that, for example, troops had to buy their own tents. They had to buy their own sleeping bags. And it is for this reason that it is critically important that this committee must be able to see exactly where the 813.3 million rand, which the minister herself in a parliamentary question to me in a reply told me was allocated to this department. So I am afraid, Chairperson, that I don't know where the instruction to come up with a 6-slide presentation has come from. Maybe there was a miscommunication. Perhaps the department is able to give us such a breakdown today. If they are, that would be very welcome. But I am afraid that this was not the aim of the original request. You will recall that I did raise this specific point with you and with the co-chairperson, and that was the actual aim of this of the request.
Thank you, Honorable Gozal. I really understand your concern. We have received this presentation a few minutes ago, but let's afford the department just to present, and the matter will still be in our table for further engagement. But for now, let's give General a platform to.
Chair, I've got my hand up, please. So I really think I should be given an opportunity to respond before we proceed now.
Okay, Honorable Nias.
Chair, I'm not happy with us proceeding with this presentation on the basis of principle, because we have agreed in this committee that we need to receive presentations well in advance so that we can acquaint ourselves with the information contained in these presentations. To receive a presentation literally in the middle of the committee meeting is nothing else but a disregard for this committee and an insult to us. It also doesn't allow us to interrogate the piffy little bit of information that is contained in this presentation. As members, we have received concerns and complaints from soldiers who've been deployed in the DRC. We now receive a report which says all of these issues have been addressed. I don't know if they have been addressed, except for what is standing in this presentation, which is an insult to us in the way it has been presented. And also in line with what had been said by the Honorable Gotzel in terms of what we expected to receive in terms of further information. I don't think we should grant this particular presentation the dignity to be presented to us because it is an insult. We must send the department back and tell them to come up with a proper presentation, which we receive in good time. And we find the time in the next meeting of the Joint Standing Committee on Defense to engage with this presentation. I personally do not feel, and I will be surprised if other members of this committee will feel, that we should allow this presentation to be tabled today. We cannot interrogate it. We cannot check on the information that we have received from soldiers who complained to us, and it doesn't cover the terrain that we originally requested this presentation to cover. So it is a useless presentation, and we are going to waste our time in order to engage it now. A clear and unequivocal message must be delivered to the department that this kind of conduct and disregard for us as a committee must immediately come to an end, and therefore we will not tolerate and we will not engage with this presentation as it stands at the moment. That is my firm proposal, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable, for your concerns. But I'm going to afford the ministry an opportunity just to do the presentation. Will not respond, will not take any.
Chair, I've made a proposal, and I made a motion. So whether you want to allow it to continue or not is now dependent on this committee. If there's someone else in this committee who's prepared to second that motion that I've made, it has to be engaged. We cannot deal with meeting matters in this way. We need to deal with meeting matters, motions and proposals in a proper meeting procedural way. Please, Chair.
Chairperson, yes, that is why my hand is up.
Who's speaking? Who want to speak?
It's Honourable Gotzel, and I would like to second that proposal just with one small edit, and that would be that the department be afforded 7 days to provide this committee with that breakdown of how the 813.3 million rand was spent, exactly what the breakdown is, so that this committee can then properly interrogate it. Thank you.
Thank you, honourable members. Any other member who want to speak about this? Is there any other member who want to speak about this? Here is a motion by the two members, honourables. Honourable Hala. Honourable Hala.
Thanks, Chair. By the look of things, this report is not accepted. So I would also concur with the colleagues that let's defer this to another meeting. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Hala. Minister, our apology. We will, as members are proposing, we will not deal with this matter now. We'll deal with it in our next engagement. We will come with the proposal with the dates for further engagement. I am going to afford the co-chair to say a few words. Co-chair.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you, Honorable Minister and Deputy Ministers, General Masondo, retired, and other colleagues from the department, generals and others. Thank you, Honorable Members. I think, Minister, it's clear that you inherited a ship with many challenges, all of which require serious funding and resources. Now, we have to try and balance between what the members are raising as serious concerns concerning the Ombud's office and the dilemmas that you are facing. You have delineated the issues as a policy, institutional, and internal capacity, and have suggested that it could be that what we regard as issues requiring legislative reform actually are policy issues, some of which are institutional issues and others are internal capacity constraints, and we need to think through all of them so that we take relevant decisions. But we are going to continuously engage with this, and we think we would suggest that you also do, because the relations between the executive authority and the Ombud's office should not depend on personal relations. In your case, you may have good relations, but in other cases, as members have indicated, the relations may not be that good. And so we need to free the Ombud's office from that constraint of relying on personal relations. And it's necessary that if there should be policy reforms or institutional reforms required, as you foresee them, that you undertake those timeously and advise the committee on the timelines that are going to be followed in regard to those institutional reforms, policy reforms, to provide clarity on the issues that we are raising. Now, the committee will engage on the desirability of legislative reforms. I think the issue you are raising is worth our attention, that it will contain financial implications, and I think it's necessary that we engage with that in light of the resources available in Parliament. And should Parliament take a decision that we need to designate the Military Ombuds Office as a Chapter 9 institution, that it will obviously will have considered whether it does have requisite resources for such, and therefore will be able to undertake the responsibility that follows that legislative reform. But it's a conversation that as the committee we need to have. In so engaging with that, we will obviously engage with the department as well. So we are grateful, I think, for the discussion, for the continued commitment and energy applied by the Ombuds in ensuring that the issues brought to the office's attention are addressed. Insofar as the internal capacity reforms, we are not only looking at the personnel, the HR component, we also must raise technology components, the artificial intelligence and many other components of the fourth industrial revolution provide a great capacitation for many institutions to execute their responsibilities with great diligence and efficiency. And I think we need more from the Ombuds Office as a way of indicating to us what reforms are being undertaken to ensure that it's able to fulfill its mandate, because it could be that where we are looking for the physical component in terms of a person occupying the office, the technology component can cover up for that and even provide better efficiency in fulfilling or executing those mandates. So there is an all-round institutional, legislative, policy, and even cultural reform required that I think we need to continuously have with the Ombuds Office as well as the ministry with regards to how the Ombuds Office is able to undertake its responsibilities. I want to thank you for your availability during the meeting and your engagement, as well as your commitment to respond in writing timeously to some of the issues to which you were not able to respond, such as the issues Honorable Harting raised. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Co-Chair. And I will not repeat what you have said here. I think you have summarized it well. We will just thank the Minister once again, Co-Chair, and say we thank the Ombud and the department for their engagement, and the committee will continue to exercise close oversight on these matters. With those few words, Minister, we really appreciate your presence, and the deputy ministers, the officials, the senior officials of the department. We will release you as we go to the next part of our agenda, and you are released, Minister, and officials of the department. And thank you very much.
Chairperson, I'm sorry. It's not clear yet whether we will receive such a breakdown and report within 7 days as requested. Have you made a ruling in this regard?
I think, Honorable Kotsal, you are very clear about that, and I think you have the minister who is very clear and who's heard everything which you have said, and we have deferred this matter to the next engagement, and the ministry have heard you very well.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, and let's allow the ministers to.
Chairperson.
Yes.
Chairperson. My apology, Chairperson, if you would allow. We are trying to raise a hand and we are not sure if it was visible. So I know that you are closing the meeting. I don't know if you may allow me less than a minute.
Are you going to speak on the matter which has been deferred?
I just want to provide some clarity, Chairperson, where Honorable Harting says that we were requested to come and do a presentation on this issue of Honorable Godson. Sorry, my apology, Honorable.
Let's do this, General. We'll discuss with you as the committee management on site on this, on how to deal with this matter. Can we leave it for now and not open discussion because members requested that it must be deferred?
No, thank you, Chairperson. It's fine.
Thank you very much. You are released, Minister and the officials. We want to proceed with the other part of our engagement. Thank you. Honourable members, let's proceed. Committee Secretary.
Sorry, Chair, I've been asking the department to stop sharing, but they're not responding to me. I can't put that. Oh, they have. Thanks, Chair.
Okay. Let's proceed. What is remaining? What are the items which are remaining?
The next day is the update on the Malaysia study tour, and then after that, it will be consideration of outstanding minutes.
Thank you, Committee Secretary. Members, I think you received a notification yesterday from the support staff about the Malaysian tour. I'm going to hand over to Dr. Van Rensburg to deal with it. Doc.
Morning, Chair, and morning, co-chairs again, and to all members. Chair, yes, members, it might not apply to everybody in all the members present in the meeting now, but to those 10 members that were scheduled to go on this study tour next month, we did share the letter that we got from the South African High Commission in Malaysia yesterday. It's with a great sense of frustration, to be honest. A lot of work has gone into this behind the scenes. So it's just to alert members to the fact that we got that letter from the High Commission of South Africa in Malaysia, and we've had many engagements with them over several weeks already. It was take one step back, it was quite a delay from Parliament side as well to approve the whole study tour. So when we finally had the approval of the two houses to go on the study tour, we immediately informed the embassy that side, who got in touch with the Malaysian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and their Department of Defense. Long story short, two significant events overtook them on that side, and that is an extension of the holidays, which was not foreseen in Malaysia, where a number of the officials will take an extended Eid holiday, which overlaps with our planned study tour. So that's the first one, and that makes the availability of their Ministry of Defense a problem in that week that we plan to be there. Secondly, also after the fact, after we started this process, their Parliament decided to declare a recess period, which coincides with the period that we are there. And members, as you recall from our discussions last year on this, the two key stakeholders that we need to engage there with is obviously the Department of Defense and their parliamentary oversight committees. So that being said, chairs and members, that's a significant concern, and if they are not available, it really detracts from the value that we can get from such a study tour. The High Commission of South Africa therefore recommends that we postpone the study tour, and we find another date for the study tour later in the year. They also phoned me, the First Secretary also phoned me during this meeting of today and said that she again phoned their Ministry of Defense today to have this discussion. And they also again reiterated that we should ideally postpone this and provide them with at least 2 months worth of notice. So that leaves us, chairs and honourable members, with probably the need to postpone this study tour. As frustrating as that is to all of us, to ensure that we have quality engagements on that side. And that might mean that we can only look at this, for example, during the next parliamentary recess, which would be in June, for example, or around that time. That, of course, as we're moving towards the local government elections, I don't know if that will impact members specifically, but chairs, that is the situation. And I thought we'd clarify this following the letter that was shared yesterday. And Chair, I'll hand back to you to see how the committee wishes to proceed administratively with this.
Okay, thank you, Doc. There you are, members. I don't know, this is very clear on what Doc van Rensburg has said here. Yeah, those are cultures of the people we wanted to go engage with, and we can go there while they will not be available to interact with us. So is there anyone who want to speak about this matter? I see Honorable Nihas, Honorable Kozel. Honorable Kozel, let me start with you. Honorable Kozel?
Yes, Chairperson. I just wanted to say that I can see from the attendance of this meeting that there are still the members from the Minister's office who are on the platform, which I'm not sure why they are on. But the possible postponement of the study tour is oh, there I see they've left. The possible postponement of the study tour is unfortunate. Those of us who will be going on it have obviously made the necessary arrangements. But Chair, I would like to then suggest that, also given the fact that we have several important items, for example, in the NCOP, when it comes to finance and budget, etc., that will come to our house in May, I think. And given the parliamentary program, that I might suggest that the study tour rather take place in, for example, July, which is a recess period, which will allow committees to properly travel, set aside enough time to study, so to speak, and that we don't just make a decision to simply move it on with a month or something. I think it should be in a recess period. Alternatively, I think given the parliamentary program, that we perhaps look at doing this after the elections next year. But I'm happy to hear other members' suggestions and inputs.
Thank you, Honorable Gota. Honorable Nihas?
Yes, Chair. I would like to concur that it's obviously disappointing, but at the same time, we have to agree that when Parliament and the Ministry of Defence in Malaysia is not really available to engage us as we want to, it wouldn't make sense to proceed with the tour. I would like to agree with the Honourable Gotzel that we need to take a long-term view now on this study tour. We need to engage properly with each other about a date. And obviously, it has to be properly cleared through our embassy with Malaysia and with the Department of Defence and the Parliament there. I do raise my concern about whether it's going to be possible for us to effectively do it in this parliamentary term for this year, or until the local government elections have taken place. I think the further we go down the year, the more complicated it will become for many of us and for many of our political parties to agree to us participating in a study tour. So everything is back up in the air. It has to be carefully liaised on. And we need to take into consideration that we need proper advance time and warning, and we need to take into consideration the issue of the local government elections coming up. Obviously, close to the elections, it's not going to be possible for our parties to release us to go on a study tour when we have critical party political work to do. So all of these issues, I would urge our administration and also our two joint chairs to take into consideration when we finally decide on a new date for the study tour. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Nihas. I think I don't see any person who want to comment on this, meaning that we all agree on the position which has been presented here by the two honorable members, Honorable Kwatzel and Honorable Nihas. So we'll leave the matter as it is, and the administration will advise us on the basis of what members have indicated here. So let's leave that one. Let's continue, members. The next is a matter of the minutes of our last meeting with the Aerospace and Maritime and Defense Industry Association. Those minutes were submitted to you, honorable members. What we need to do is just to adopt these minutes, and let's go through them, members. I'm on page 1. Going to point number 1, where is welcome and apologies. Second point, apologies. The third point, consideration of outstanding minutes. And fourth is a briefing by the AMD on industry challenges with the DCAC and the NCACC. Number 4, then number 5 is engagement. Number 6, discussion on the meetings postponement request on the by the NCACC. Number 7, it was discussion on Armed Forces Day. Number 7, it was resolution. Number 9 was closing remarks. And is there anything, honorable members, which you think it does not was not covered in this? Was not covered in this. Members are all.
Yes, sir.
Chair.
Hands up.
I don't see your hands, Honorable Allah.
Let's go to the first page. First page, the correction, Chair.
First page.
First page. Okay. First page.
Which point? We've got point number 1, point number 2, point number 3. Which point?
Then go up, or go down. On agenda.
On agenda.
The second line. There are 2 directorates there. Let's delete one.
Okay, Honorable Allah. The briefings by by AMD on industry challenges with the directorate conventional, that is DCAC, and no, this was correct. It was supposed to be briefed by the AMD, the DCAC, and the NCACC. Honorable Hala. Honorable Hala.
No, Chair, I have corrected it. There were the word directorate, it was typed twice, so I have corrected it, Chair.
Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, any other thing, honorable members?
Chairperson.
Yes, Honorable Hakim.
On the resolutions.
Okay, let's go there on the resolutions.
Firstly, I would first, before we go to, I would like to amend or to add another item under resolutions, which then should be 8.1 or not 8.2 bullet, that the presentation of the AMD be submitted to the NCACC to respond in detail on it during the meeting of the 6th of January. With that amendment, I propose that we then, if there's no objection to that we accept the minutes as it is, and then I would like to make another proposal after the acceptance of the minutes, please. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable. You are proposing that we add there at the resolutions that the presentation by the AMD be submitted to the NCACC for their response.
Yes, for their response on next week, Friday. Thank you.
Okay.
On the, thank you.
Okay.
On the 6th.
Okay. Anyone? Here is a motion, honorable members. Do you want to respond to it?
I second that motion, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Niehaus. The presentation will be submitted with that request. Okay, let's adopt.
Thank you, Chair. I propose that we adopt it.
Okay, let's have the second, honorable members.
Move seconded, Chair. Back to the column.
Ngozi, thank you very much. Ngozi has seconded the adoption of these minutes, and the minutes is duly accepted. Honorable members, I think we have come to a conclusion of our
Chairperson. Chairperson.
Yes, Honorable Martin.
Perhaps you haven't heard me. I've asked when we have adopted that I would like to make another proposal, please, on the minutes.
On the minutes, okay. Okay, can you just highlight those minutes again?
No, it's not necessary. No, it's not necessary. Chair, in view of the perpetual evasion of your committee's meetings, I would like to propose that the chairperson of the NCAC be today reminded of the meeting next week, Friday. Secondly, that she confirms attendance as well as lists the attendees. Thank you, Chair.
Can you come again? I didn't get you, Honorable.
Thank you, I'll repeat. Chair,
Yes.
in view of the perpetual avoidance of appearing at this committee, I would request that and propose that we remind the chairperson of the NCACC of next week's meeting, confirm her attendance as well as a list of the attendees. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable. I think that message was clear to them all. We hope that they are all in all 11. And you mentioned it here, Honorable, and I hope that we'll have a reasonable number of them, including the chairperson herself.
Chair, the essence of my proposal here is confirmation today. Confirmation of attendance and confirmation of attendees.
Chair, I second that proposal by the Honourable Hutton. So there must be a further written letter to the Minister confirming attendance plus the attendees, regardless of what we said in the past. That proposal is a good one. I second it. Thanks.
Thank you, Honourable. Honourable members, I think we have come to an end of our meeting and
Chair.
Doc.
Chair, sorry. Can I quickly highlight the issue of the presidential letter that was received?
Oh, sorry. Sorry, honourable members. We are missing this because some of the things we got this in during the course of the meeting. Yes, Doc. The platform is yours.
Thank you, Chair. I'll just share it quickly. As you said correctly, this was only received during the meeting. While we started the meeting, I quickly checked today's ATC, and I hope the screen is visible, but this letter was submitted in today's ATC, and it relates to the withdrawal. Members, I think Honourable Hutton last week asked about this, one of these outstanding letters. So I saw this one in today's ATC. referring to the extension of the employment of the SANDF in the DRC as part of the UN mission there, with the aim of then a complete withdrawal. And all the information is available there. We will also share this with members on the group after the meeting. But Chair and members, suffice to say, the joint rules requires this committee to report to the Houses of Parliament on the deployments of the military. And according to our SOP that we adopted last year on how to handle these letters and how to be a bit quicker in our reaction to these letters, we should submit that report within 4 days. So with this letter being tabled today, Chair, members, I want to make a proposal, if it's possible for members, for example, on Tuesday morning early, to do a quick virtual meeting where we can discuss a draft report on this. It's normally just a 1-page report, noting this to the House and just going through the details of the letter. Just making that proposal, Chair, perhaps for Tuesday morning, a time that suits members, if it's possible, a quick virtual meeting before other engagements of the committee starts. I'll hand back to you, Chair. But yeah, just to say again that our SOP requires us to report back to Parliament on these letters. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, I think you hear what Dr. Van Nasberg is proposing here, that we meet on Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning, we have some, I think we have some committee meetings. How long do you think we should talk? Can it be 30 minutes or 1 hour?
It depends on the input of members and if there's any controversy around it, Chair, but it could be done in half an hour. It's a fairly simple report from the committee side.
Okay. Members, can we agree that we care for Tuesday? Let's see how our program is on Tuesday, and we can do it as early as 8 o'clock in the morning. Before we start with all our programs. But yes.
I've raised my hand, but as you were speaking, you covered me. So I would like to second your proposal for 8 o'clock, because some of our committee meetings actually starts at 9 o'clock. So 8 o'clock will be adequate for a virtual meeting. Thanks. I second your proposal.
Okay, but let's just do this. Let's the support staff non-debate check all our program next week, and then we meet as early as 8 o'clock and deal with these issues. And with those and thank you very much, Honorable
Chairperson. We also have the issue of the internal deployment. This letter was apparently sent by the President on the 13th of February. It took 2 weeks to be ATC'd. And I would like the Chairperson to get an answer to that. This is not acceptable. That the letter is somewhere in the air or somewhere on a desk for 2 weeks before it reaches us. It's unacceptable.
Noted, Honorable Martin. Yeah, these are serious matters which we must take them serious. Members, let me thank you. Let me thank the co-chair, and let me thank you, honorable members, for your engagements, your attentive, and also your engagement on these issues. We are looking forward, members, to get the things right. We are dealing with the serious challenge of the organization, and as you heard on Wednesday, I expect that from the budget that something substantial will come through, but nothing. And I think we will request the support staff just to do the basic reflection of the budget and see whether where are we in terms of all our noises, which we have been making noise on the issues of defense, and I think this is the area which we cannot compromise. And I think in our next meeting, I'll just request that in the Tuesday meeting, I'll as well request the staff just to do the reflection of the budget in terms of the finances which have been submitted there. But from where I'm sitting, we have not moved an inch, members. But without much ado, honourable members, let me once again thank you for your participation, and thanks a lot. And the meeting stand adjourned. We'll meet on Tuesday, and will as well be prepared for Friday. Thank you very much, and the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Honourable Chair.
Thank you, Chair.